Writing files is very similar to reading files. So I'm going to erase some of this. We open it the same way, but instead of saying open, we're going to say create. Okay? And let's delete this bit here. And so this is going to create hello.txt. If the file already exists, this is going to overwrite it. Okay? It's going to truncate it. It's going to delete everything inside of it and get it ready to write. So this opens a file and puts sort of your cursor, the place where it's going to write to, at the very beginning of the file. Okay? Following? So the way you write to a file is f.write, okay, and you give it data. So remember we saw a string and converted a slice of bytes into a string? Well, now I'm converting a string into a slice of bytes. So maybe if I break that out. And then I'm writing those to the file. Okay. This returns the number of bytes written and an error optionally. Okay. So sometimes when you write to a file, you can get an error because maybe you ran out of disk space or something. Okay. And so you need to check your error, just like we did with read. There was an error that could happen. Same idea. And you know, we might say error writing to file and give it what the error was. We generally don't have to use n too often, so we can probably just ignore it. Remember how to ignore? Underscore. There we go. So we can just ignore that. Okay, so theoretically, this program. Oh, does everybody understand this error? No new variables on left side of colon equal. Why is this line
I've already used error.
Because I've already used error up here. Okay, you will see that often. Okay. I just changed it to an equal because I already defined it up here. Okay. So if I go back to file example, and I go install that, then I should be able to run file example. Now I didn't print anything because I don't have any print line in here. But what do we expect this to have done?
Creates a file and allow the text.
Right, so it should have created this file, and then it should have written the string txt to it. So if I open that file, and I'll do it in here. Make sense? It wrote txt to the file. Now it used to say hello world, so it erased it. Okay, so this is a little bit dangerous, just writing to a file, but you can overwrite files this way. Okay.
Now, in light of that, what does, when you're designating files in folders and stuff, what is it reading? That whole section on the left-hand side? In other words, what's the expanse of files that this program is using? In other words, you're storing hello text in file example. Okay? It's in that location physically as I see it.
No, this is the name of the file. It's creating the file, and then it's writing to the file.
Right. But what I'm saying is,
Get up there, Paul. Go right on the stage. Come on, bring it,
on
baby.
stage, but
Point to it.
what I'm worried about is, just as a neat noob, if I have another file named hello text somewhere in here, and I run this
I
program,
understand your question.
or you know, I'm trying to see how much does this file read over what's in there? What's the expanse?
Okay,
that it
so
covers?
when you run a program, so when I ran file example, it has what's called a working directory. Okay?
There you go.
The working directory is the directory that when I reference a file like this, when I say hello text, that's where it's going to look for it. So it looks for it in the working directory, which is the directory I ran the program from. So if I go to a different directory, so if I go to temp/temp, which is a temporary folder, and there's stuff in here, and I ran that same program, which I can do because I go install it. What do we think just happened?
It made a file in slash n.
In that directory.
It made this file,
Ooh.
okay?
Can you open that file?
Yep, I'll cat it. I'll my cat it.
There you go.
Text, right? So it would write hello text wherever you happen to be on the command line, okay? So that is an important thing. Now, we can, of course, change it so that this always writes to 10 by doing that, okay? And now, no matter where I run this program, it's going to write to that file. And the reason why is it starts with the slash. So this is an absolute reference to the file before it was a relative.
So it's going to go through your computer and find 10 and then place it?
Yep.
Or is it going to create a 10 and then create a
No, if the folder doesn't exist already, so if I had /some folder that doesn't exist,
Are you sure that doesn't exist?
I'm sure that doesn't exist. It would throw an error. In fact, we can see that. So, what was this? Source examples, file example. Go install, file example. No such file or directory. That can be a little confusing. What they're saying is this directory doesn't exist. Okay? And that's why you get an error. So no, it doesn't create directories for you. So since we're on that topic, I might as well show you how to create a directory. It's really easy. You say os.makedir, and that's Unixy. This is probably not going to work either, but we'll see a different error for why. So, I think this returns error, but we'll see. Yep. Oh, not enough arguments. So it turns out it expects permissions. So in Unix, folders can have permissions like the current user's permissions, the group's permissions, anybody's permissions, and you set them with that. Our friend hexadecimal comes back, so don't have to worry too much about that. Failed to create a directory, and then the error. We gotta fix this guy, because now, well, actually, we don't have to fix it. Okay. So, now what I'm trying to do here, I'll create this folder, and then I'll try to write it. Okay? Well, this makes it dirty. So do we expect this to work?
I think so.
Permission denied. I got permission denied because I tried to make a new folder inside the root folder, and that's an admin thing. So if you've never done this before, you can type sudo. That means run as admin, and then file example. And there, now it worked. Now if I do ls/, I have some folder that doesn't exist. Okay. Generally, you should not be running the programs as root, as the admin user, but you can if you have to. Okay? Everybody following? So the reason this didn't work is because I'm just a regular user. I don't have the ability to create folders inside of /. But admins do, so when I run sudo, it makes it so that I can run as admin. Okay?
Slashes, which, why does it have a default folder?
Yeah, so in OS X and Linux and other Unices, or whatever you call them, there's like one file system, and it starts with /, that's called the root, and then everything is from there. So your users are in, ls/users, and here's my account in there. And there's a bunch of other things. In Windows, it's C:\\. Okay? So if I look here, I have this is the full, location. So it starts at root, goes to the MNT mount folder, goes to shared, and then a bunch of other stuff. In Windows, the slashes will go the other direction, but otherwise they're very similar. And it doesn't start with the /, it starts with like C:\/. Okay? So that's the difference between Windows and Unix. Okay? And you have to sort of live with that because they're different, and that's just the way it is. I think it turns out that if you use /, it usually works. Okay, Windows will be like, oh, okay, I'll go to C:\, and do it. And it'll usually work with the slashes in the wrong direction. It'll usually be okay with that. But all that doesn't matter that much because we usually just work with relative like this.
Indulge me here, and before, at the point that I ask my question, what is your working directory?
Yeah,
When you wrote the program, what is the working directory?
Wait.
Because there's that whole branch of files. When does it say, this is the directory?
when you run the program,
Okay.
not when you write the program. So the working directory is set when you run the program, and you can see what your current working directory is doing that. And actually, I think you can say, whoops, no, PW. Okay, and that will tell you your working directory. So I am currently in mount share go source examples file example. My go path is set to mount share go.
Okay.
That's, so you guys will be in like users, whatever, slash, source examples, my cat, for example. And when you're running a program, that's the working directory. Got it?
CD is change directory, it changes your.
Yeah, right, that I know. I'm just trying to find out the expanse of a directory, because if I work on something in May and name a file, and then come back in December and name a file by coincidence, the same name, am I messing up what I did in May because I'm not aware of the expanse of that directory?
So you could just bring down United, Wall Street, and you could write.
That's the thrust of my question. You understand?
Yeah, so hard coding a name like this is usually a bad pattern. Usually not something you would want to do. That's why we're changing the program to be the user says it. And so, you know, if the user decides to overwrite their file, well, that's not really my fault, that's their fault, right? But if I have a hard-coded name in my program, and they're like, I'm just going to run this program and it does weird stuff on their computer, that's really my fault, right?
Right.
That's the idea. So let's see if we can make something interesting with writing a file. Let's see what we got here. I think we could do number 4. So CP stands for copy. I'll show you how you can use it. So I have in here hello.txt. I'm going to say hello text. I'm going to give it an different name, hello2.txt. Okay? That copies the file. So now if I look in here, I've got another file, hello2.txt. It has exactly the same contents as hello.txt. Right? So I think we know enough to be able to create this program. And we're going to call it my-cp, right? And so inside of examples, you'll make a new folder, my-cp. You'll make a main.go file. And it'll have package main and all the rest. I'm going to copy this, put it in there. Okay. So step 1 will be read the file, and step 2 will be write the file. Okay, and just to get us started here, the from file name is os.args1. The to file name is os.args2. Everybody following that? So the code here is to make the rest of this bit. Okay? You guys should be able to do that. Got it? John? It's a pretty easy program. So here's the create to see that.